Yo, what's up, everybody? Today is Sunday, July 6th, 2025. Bitcoin block height 904,311. Transaction fees 1 sat per VByte, low and medium priority, 3 sats per VByte, high priority. Just over 4,000 unconfirmed transactions in this mempool. Oh, we've had some full blocks here. But looking at these blocks, some empty blocks. Some of these blocks come back to back, and if there's not a lot of transactions sitting in a mempool, they won't get mined. It's win and lose. I like seeing low fees. That way I could transact cheaply on Bitcoin, but then I don't like seeing the no activity because I know that people are just not using it. They're keeping their coins on exchanges. They're buying ETFs. They're buying MicroStrategy, all these other nonsense things. And the good thing though is they're just holding their Bitcoin. You know, that's good. But if we're not using Bitcoin as money, if we're not exchanging it, then as Jeff Booth says, it will fail as a store of value because he hasn't said this part, but it will just be gold 2.0. You see how gold is controlled by the dollar because no one uses gold. It's like no one checks in on gold. No one cares. It's also harder to check in on gold as far as self-custody because it's physical. With Bitcoin, it's a lot easier to do like a proof of keys day where everyone pulls it off the exchange. I think Trace Mayer started that. I think it's January 3rd. But no one does it. Not many, even that, not many people even care to do it. You know, it's self-custody is a weird thing, man. It's super valuable. It's one of the great innovations that is Bitcoin, which is a digital bearer asset, which just means you can hold it yourself and it's digital. Like, what? That's crazy. Everything online has been copy and pasted forever. And now something online that can't be copied and pasted, you know, it's weird. It's an amazing, amazing invention. Some people call it a discovery, but I'll call it an invention. Either way, you know, whatever. But it's just a wild thing, you know. People just don't care. People get caught up with the bright lights and the yield. You know, you got the misty people, the yield. You know, look. A lot of it is you have a lump sum of cash or value. Let's say you got one full Bitcoin's worth about $100,000. You put it up there, you transform it into dollars. Stupid. You buy Misty with it. And then Misty will give you, you know, $1 a share every month or whatever the hell they do. And I did the math on it. Mainly, it's like 16 months. Conservatively, I like to push it out a little bit. Maybe you could get it back in 12 months, 14 months. Your initial capital, you know, your one full Bitcoin. Maybe. But I'll say 16 months because it varies. So I like to be safe with my estimates, you know. So 16 months. So you got to hope that this Misty thing doesn't rug pull you, doesn't collapse, continues to pay the dividends or the cash flow or whatever the hell, you know, they're selling the covered calls, all this stuff. You got to hope that all that happens. And it's just risky, man. The other way is to just sell. Let's say you get $6,000 a month and you got one Bitcoin. Well, the other way is just to sell, shave off $6,000 a month every month. Just shave it off. Keep going. Keep going. And then hopefully the US dollar value of Bitcoin goes up in those 16 months or whatever so that your stack isn't dwindled to zero. So you're selling $6,000 worth of Bitcoin every month out of your one full Bitcoin, which is worth about $100,000. But the thing about that people don't like is, look, you know that you're going to zero. You know that one Bitcoin is eventually going to be worth nothing because you're losing it. You're shaving it away. You're selling it off. every month. So every month you're losing like 0.006 Bitcoin, or no, 0.06, I think it is. So you're losing 0.06, which is 6 million Satoshis. So you're selling 6 million Satoshis every month. And you're like, well, eventually that's going to be 100 million Satoshis, right? 6 million every month goes away. Eventually I'll have no Bitcoin. That's why people don't like to do it. They look for other things like, well, how can I have my cake and eat it too? Right? Everyone wants to preserve their cake, preserve their capital, but they also want to take a bite out of it. They also want to eat it. It looks so damn good. And that's how we get trapped in these schemes, because we're like, hey, bro, it's basically risk-free. All you gotta do, buy this paper nonsense that I created for free, and if everyone does it, we can have a huge Ponzi. So that's the thing with Misty and everything, all these other things other than Bitcoin. It's so crazy that we're in this time right now that people just don't understand. And there's a lot of things I don't understand either, you know? That's one of the reasons why I come through and just talk through these things live on the internet. People can hear it, they can give feedback, they can talk shit however they want. But the promise of Misty and all these products like it is that you can have your capital and you can also shave off some every month in yield. You know, they call it yield. You can have your 100 grand of Misty. You get your 6 grand every month or whatever it is. And after, you keep getting 6 grand, it's just free. And then after forever, right? Just presumably forever, how long it lasts, you always have that 100 grand capital. So it's a win-win, you never lose. But there's risks in that 100 grand could go away. It could go to zero before you even get paid out in full. And people could say, well, Bitcoin could go to zero too. Yeah, of course it could. And these are the risks that you're willing to take. What's more likely? Bitcoin goes to zero or some stupid ass fund goes to zero? And this is where you look at the fundamentals. You look at the properties of the assets. You look at the properties of Bitcoin. You look at the properties of Misty. You compare and you say, well, Bitcoin's a lot less likely to go to zero because look what Bitcoin is. It's fucking awesome. So I don't know. I understand the value or the lore of these products, but I just don't think it's there, man. I just don't think it's there. I think so many people are going to get rugged. It reminds me of BitConnect. BitConnect! It reminds me of BitConnect a lot. And I would just like to see people transacting on-chain Bitcoin, and hey, look, if Bitcoin scales in layers, so be it. Use Lightning. Use Spaces protocol. Use whatever new protocols that come out that are good, that still allow you to hold your keys, not to give up ownership. But even Lightning, though, Lightning doesn't allow you. So Lightning's sketchy too, man. I think Lightning, we're just like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to take this risk. I think everything is a risk. And it's just how much risk are you willing to take, man? I think really that's what it comes down to. And look, I'm like it with a lot of people too. Like, look, I got bills to pay every month, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, if everyone's accepting cash for my mortgage payment, for my grocery bill, for my electric bill, for the vehicles I want to drive, for the things I want to purchase, then yeah, I'm going to be in cash too. I want to be in cash too then. But you see, that's how Bitcoin loses. If everyone wants cash, then no one wants Bitcoin, and no one cares about the Bitcoin 21 million, about the proof of keys, about holding your own keys and being self-sovereign. No one gives a shit. So it's easy to fuck up the network. It's easy to just be like, oh yeah, we got 21. Look at MicroStrategy, dude. They got 21 million Bitcoin, right? Hey, fuck it. There's 50 million Bitcoin. All these ETFs, right? Whatever they got, right? MicroStrategy, all these places. I got 50,000 Bitcoin. I don't know what they got. They got some arbitrary number, whatever they say they got, right? They got. But who the fuck knows? Because they ain't showing you on chain, right? That's the problem. That's it right there. When we all play these fiat games, we get fiat results, man. And that's the fuckery. This is what Bitcoin solves. And we're like boomerangs, I guess, with humans. You know, we go out and we're like, oh man, fuck this system. It sucks. The fiat system sucks for all these reasons. Bitcoin comes in, we're like, wow, Bitcoin's great for all these different reasons, the opposite of fiat. And then we just come back around and be like, well, you know, maybe we could just fiat-tize Bitcoin a little bit, just a little bit. Make it like that. Come on. You know, that's the thing. We're just crazy as humans, man. I don't know why we fall for these stupid ass things, but I guess it's because bright lights and shiny objects where we're like, hey, I can have my cake. I can eat it too. Let's play. And you know what? And the messed up part really is that shit works for a time period. And that's what's messed up, because you think to yourself, well, if it really was a scam, it would crash by now. And then you get in and that's when it fucking crashes. I did that with the housing market, actually. I bought a house. I was like, well, if it was going to crash, it would have crashed by now, right? Right? So I bought a house in like '08, and then it crashed right after that. I was like, oh, good. That's good timing. You know, just stupid logical thinking. But we do it because we're like lemmings as people. We follow the crowd. It's just a natural survival thing. It makes a lot of sense because you would follow the crowd if everyone was going in a certain direction. You were walking into the unknown. You would start to be increasingly more skeptical. Like, what in the hell am I walking into? Everyone's walking the other way. Then eventually you would just turn your ass and run with the crowd because you don't know, you know? You're just like, all right, what's the risk, right? It goes back to the risk. So I don't know. We all need the moral of the story. The point of this whole long rant is we need to fucking use Bitcoin directly, main chain. Use that fucking shit. Ask people to fucking buy. Do you accept Bitcoin? Put some on your fucking phone. I did this. Put it, and fuck it, you know? Put it on Lightning then if you got to. I did that. Put on Lightning. Fuck it, right? Let's use Lightning. I mean, you don't have keys. You don't have the keys. You got your Lightning keys, you know, but you're relying on this trusted party to get it back to real Bitcoin, you know? That's the question too. What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is holding your own keys. If you don't hold your own keys to layer one, then you don't have fucking Bitcoin, dude. You got Lightning Bitcoin, okay. You got ETF Bitcoin, okay. You got proxy derivative XYZ fiat Bitcoin, okay. Well, you don't have Bitcoin unless you hold the keys on Bitcoin layer one. You know, people need to fucking understand that shit. And another thing that we could do, other than asking people to, hey, do you accept Bitcoin? Can I give you some fucking Bitcoin? God damn it. Didn't know it was this fucking hard. We could accept it. We could offer products and services, and we ourselves can accept the Bitcoin. Like, yo, I like that shit. Give me Bitcoin for this product, this service, and I'll tell you what, 20% off. Actually, you know what? 21% off, motherfucker. 21% off if you pay me in Bitcoin. And that should just be the global shit, you know? Everyone does it. Dude, I can save 21% if I pay in Bitcoin? Yeah, you sure as hell can. Now, the problem is we need to all be wealthy enough to let that happen because 21% is a big freaking discount. And we are. We're all getting fucking wealthy. I mean, what the fuck? You know, you've been here long enough. You're getting fucking rich, dude. You're getting rich in slow motion with fucking Bitcoin. Like, shit, the fuck? If you're not, then you haven't been here. Just fucking wait, and you fucking will be. This is what the fuck happens. There was just a dude that bought $10,000 worth of Bitcoin 10 years ago, 11 years ago. He just sold it for $1 billion US or some shit. You know, it was like 80,000 Bitcoin. And who was it? People think it was Roger Ver or something. I don't know, but whatever. Point is, the fiat dollars are fucking unlimited, man. And politicians create them whenever the hell they want. They create them for free. There's no labor. Bitcoin gets created through proof of work. It requires real world energy to make Bitcoin, and it's limited. There's only 21 million of them. So figure it out. It's going to go up forever. Everyone thinks, oh, I'm late. You probably think you're late. Yeah, I think I'm late too, but guess what? I'm not. So just take it slow. Well, you take it fast, and then you take it slow. When you first get into Bitcoin, that's when you just fucking get in. Just get the fuck in, dude. Get in. Try to get one full coin. Try to get 10 million Satoshis. Try to get 1 million Satoshis. Try to get 100,000 Satoshis. Set your goal somewhere along that line. Hit your goal, 1 million Satoshis. Then you want to get 10 million. Just keep going up that decimal point ledger, the hierarchy, the step of Bitcoin ownership. Just try to keep getting one decimal point to the left. And that's what you do. But it'll all be lost if we're not using Bitcoin. And that's a true ass story. I know people will say, nah, this is how money is. First, it becomes a store of value. Then it becomes a medium of exchange. Yeah, I do believe that. That is true. The progression of money, the evolution of money. I do believe that that's how it goes. But I also believe that we're kind of being lulled to sleep that, it'll just work itself out. Everything will just work itself out. And that's wrong too, because we're humans and humans use money. Money is a human construct, right? Money is just not something that just works itself out. Like, oh, well, it's just fucking gravity. It's just nature. It'll work itself out. Like, no, animals don't use fucking money. All right. Humans use money. It's a human construct. So if humans dick around and we start using dollars, or we keep using dollars as money, and we just use Bitcoin as digital property, a digital asset, we never spend it, well, then it'll just be easy to be corrupted. It'll be easy to be taken over. No one will give a shit about the code change and anything that happens with the Bitcoin base layer, and it'll slowly be eroded into nothing where it's captured and controlled by a few people, because we're all busy dancing with the dollars, spending the dollars to give a shit. We don't give two shits about Bitcoin Core. We got Lightning, and then we got layer 3, and then we got layer 4, all further away from what Bitcoin is, and you're not sovereign anymore. You don't hold your keys. No one's transacting on the blockchain. So it's a problem, believe it or not. It's a fucking problem. And people will tell you, they're super smart and they'll tell you nothing to worry about. But that ain't true, man. That ain't true. It is something to fucking worry about. Just think about it. Shit ain't just working itself out. We're the fucking humans that work it the fuck out. So what we do is what happens. And if all of us don't give a shit about Bitcoin layer 1, and all we care about is dollars, Misty, MicroStrategy, stupid ass fucking fiat products, and all our attention is on the fiat products, well, that's where we'll be. And that's what we'll get stuck with. And Bitcoin layer 1, while nobody's looking, will just get changed. I mean, you can see how core devs are changing it now with the Opportune thing. So, and it'll just be, well, there's pushback, with knots and everything, but it'll just be even worse than that. It'll just be crazy. They'll do whatever the fuck they want. And you won't care because there won't be enough outrage about it. There won't be enough eyes on it. We need people like, you don't know the code, most likely. I don't know the code. I can't read the code and be like, oh yeah, Bitcoin's decentralized and secure. Yeah, it is. No, I'm trusting on other people that if there was a problem, that they would see it. And the longevity of the chain, the fact that it's been going on for so long and hasn't been hacked, it's still going. And the fact that more people are coming into it, right? So I'm trusting in that fact, right? I don't know about code and all that shit. Most people don't. So if our eyes aren't on it, then it's just going to be even worse, man. So use fucking Bitcoin. Hold it. Spend in it. Accept it. Spend and replace if you're fucking worried, man. Go to dinner, spend $200, $100, whatever, with your Bitcoin. If you're so fucking worried about it, buy $100, $200 worth of Bitcoin when you get home. Same shit. It's the same shit. Spend and replace, man. It's very fucking easy. All right, Bitcoin USD price 108,865. 24-hour high was 109,153. 24-hour low is 107,837. One Satoshi gets you $918. There you go. I fucked that up, but that's what it's going to be. $1 gets you 918 Satoshis, but eventually, there you go. Freudian slip right there. One Satoshi gets you 918 US dollars. That's what it's going to be. And also think too, like reading this, the dollar value, like who gives a shit? You know, the dollar value doesn't matter. Dollars are free and unlimited. It's the Bitcoin value that matters. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. How many of those 21 million do you have? How much of that network do you have? So I've been thinking about it. I know it's just super popular though, because it's so early in Bitcoin and everyone's used to the dollar. We love the dollar. We're just so used to it, of course. So that's why I think I still have to keep reading the dollar price, because it's a huge metric in this transition period. But I'm looking down here at these other things like hash rate, 914 exahash, block subsidies. You know, maybe I should start reading some of this shit. I don't know. Directly Bitcoin statistics, you know, I'll see. Bitcoin Spaces Protocol 1.5025 total Bitcoin burned, 7,620 bids, 2,181 transfers and registers, 2,276 rollouts. Spaces in auction, Toast, some Puni codes, Amazon, fuck, IY, claimable in about 20 hours and 30 minutes. Some unconfirmed Spaces actions. A bunch of bids over here on Speak, Fred, Collect, NT, Layer, Coins. Recent Spaces actions. Transfers on Pen, Answer, Zone, Online. And some bids on Powder, Collect, IL, Amazon, Layer. Upcoming rollouts, only 2. LC and Joe. So we got 8 spots opening up. In about 1 hour and 40 minutes, these lone 2 spaces will roll out unless some more people get in here and make some open commands. Spaces.market, latest listings, PA, Master, Protect, WZ, Center, VM, Age, EI, Pilot. All right, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you all for watching.